Blooms. Is it live? Okay. YouTube literally said it was going live, and then we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep the bloopers and all, y'all. Okay, but this is Star with Star Blooms. I wanted to basically share how when we get off of a rate of going towards something and we're starting to be in the process of choosing, and we're at this rate of knowing that we're discerning how we could basically perceive things at a deeper rate and be able to grasp like some of the small hanging fruit that may keep us, I don't want to say stagnant, but may keep us slowly moving through processes. Okay. And sometimes slow and steady is good, y'all. Sometimes we just be wanting to move through things fast and quick because we have a desire to get to the next place, and it's not necessary. Sometimes you do not understand what spirit is covering and protecting you from by allowing you to have this allotment of space and time that you get to perceive and get to integrate moving in and through, thank y'all, shifts and processes on your journey. Um, Star is very, very near and dear to me. It's basically the name that I was given when I asked Spirit, "What is my name? If I had one that I should be called by." And when I went into the process of learning what numerology was, I was so perplexed, in a space with it because I really hadn't grasped the full understanding of what 13-4 means. 13 is a karmic number, y'all. Okay. And karmic is not negative, karmic is just internal. Okay. It's just internal energy. It's something internally happening that's transactioning and currently moving through and with you in this current space and time that you're in. And a lot of the times we don't allow ourselves to be internal with circumstance. We want to be surface because we perceive that it's a lot easier. But I understand and I now know that when you're dealing with things on both ends of the spectrum, you're balanced in it and it allows you to move through um, and in a lot easier. Safety was one of the biggest things once I recognized that my inner child had been placed in unsafe predicaments. Safety was one of the biggest things that I was going towards. It was like I just wanted to feel safe. I would always say that I want to feel safe. I want somebody that I feel safe with. I want to be in friendships that are safe. I want to have a home that's safe for me and my baby. It was this something that I would say idle mindedly, but very intentionally because it mattered to me and it was very important. However, over these past couple of months, working with myself, being at a rate to where I'm healing, being at a rate to where I'm able to process what it is that I'm perceiving differently, um, I recognize how much it's just like this small giant constantly speaking through the ego that's not allowing you to represent fully where it is that you become. Why is this? All right. When safety is your pursuit, know that being safe is now the star in your life. And it becomes a hindrance in your expression and in, yeah, a hindrance in you experiencing certain things and in you expressing your light energy, which is the energy that you have from within. I'm trying to process how to say it and it not be so much, but I want to share because a lot of times we don't understand what it is that's happening with us with the smallest things. Um, Sometimes if you're at this rate where you're constantly thinking about what's safe, what is safe, not being willing to take certain risks. Sometimes you will confuse guidance, y'all, with fairness. What does this mean? You'll confuse your spirit team giving you guidance to do certain things, them coming in and moving certain things out of your way as punishment. You'll think that things are happening that are coming up against you. And how I perceived this when I was receiving this channel was the idea of being filled and feeling. So a lot of the times we sit in our feelings with so much, especially being empathic. We know that it's a power there. However, there's also this rate of experience where we start to recognize when we have a spiritually led life, when we're on a mission filled life, we'll be on mission. So at that point, you're being filled, and your feelings need to be kind of put on the side, not on the back burner, but they need to be moved over a little bit so you could actually filter, what it is that you're on mission in that space, and knowing why it is that you've been called to this rate of experience. It's important because if you aren't aware that you're on mission, you will make something in a head space, in a heart space, permeated throughout your vessels and your cells, wanting to be consistent in it instead of doing a job that you've been called to do. And it becomes unfortunate because it calls us to loop through and constantly go back over things that we may have already healed beyond. Okay. I also believe that you'll perceive alignment like with a state of urgency and kind of like feel rushed. A lot of times when we recognize that, say like my home, if I found myself to be in a neighborhood that I don't really feel like my baby could play outside in, that I don't really feel comfortable in, sometimes we urgently want to make decisions to move beyond this space, and we don't know what's happening behind the curtains. And a lot of things for us have been placed and we've been situated for a reason. Okay. Your energy in certain places is necessary. You just physically being present and existing in an environment actually can heal. And a lot of us do not want to live at the rate where we recognize that this is who we are and this is what is occurring with us. I don't know why I'm being called to 7:07 on the clock. I'm being called to say, allow your energy to linger. Okay. Sometimes people have the ability, when we're on these social media apps, y'all, we have the ability to share information and we're sharing it before it's going to be perceived. And people are going to have to come back to it because you've already went ahead of something. I'm a 6 life path. This is making so much sense. Because you went ahead, a lot of the times your message will hit a lot deeper and it'll come back around. So allow your message to linger. I think they basically making me very clear on the fact of why it is that I'm not sharing as much. I like that. Um, I like that. Sometimes if you're a psychic and you're a prophet, people have to catch up to what it is that you've already kind of processed within your vessel. And you have to give yourself space and time to be able to integrate it. I'm going to stop this and I'm going to start again, y'all. 1 second. I'm not going to do that on YouTube. TikTok is different, y'all. That's why I be like at the rate of trying to make things make sense for myself with TikTok. But I'm on here, okay? And as I said, let your energy linger. If you're requiring yourself to be more than what is necessary to a circumstance, but you're not whole in what it is that you're needing or calling in for yourself, sometimes you may not actually be aware of what's occurring, and what's transpired. Hold on. What's occurred and what's transpired. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. It's like my whole phone froze. Okay, there we go. I don't think I'm gonna edit this. I might or might not edit it. Being at a rate, however, where you're allowing yourself to know that whatever time it takes for you to get to whatever space it is that you're going to, it was always necessary. It was always meant for you. A lot of the times, y'all, we be in the midst of a journey and we'll forget where we were before we made the decision that this is what we were going after. What do I mean? When you first get a spark of inspiration, when you can first get this, fresh oil, like it's like water. It's like the most refreshing drink sometimes that you could perceive when you're receiving like this idea that you're going to go towards something, that you want to do something, right? And when it happens originally, it's this rate of, oh my God, this is the best idea. Yes, I want to go do this. Yes, I want to go through this. Yes, I want to be in this experience. There's this, I'm hearing direct pursuit, and I'm going to keep it that way, but I heard something else and I like what else I heard too, but I'm going to keep it that way. There's this direct pursuit that you perceive to be occurring. You have this idea, you're going to go towards it. That's it. Right? So when you start actually getting in the motion of doing the thing, a lot of times we get beat up, y'all, because we be getting our ass whooped. we be getting we be getting our butt whooped, y'all. Especially if we don't know that we're in the midst of a mission. We don't know that we're in the midst of this. My hair is so sharp, y'all, because of the cut, and it's like rubbing against my shoulders. We don't know that we're in the midst of a mission all the time. So we'll be perceiving the mission as something that we have to fix and correct instead of just be there and be present to experience it. We don't recognize all the time that we've been called to actually be the correction, basically just by being there. Okay. And it seems crazy, but for those who know, you've been called to a space. You don't know why you were meant to go there. This happens to me all the time, y'all. Okay. So I'll share a quick message. I've been going to like a lot of fairs. We're getting to like the end of summertime. So, like it's always a whole lot of fairs at this time of the year. And my baby loves them. Okay. I've been going to a lot of fairs lately. And I kid you not, the things that I go through beforehand, before getting to these places. The last two fairs, we were meant to be going somewhere else. And because of whatever reason, we didn't make it to the places that we were meant to be going to. And I have like this little calendar to where I could be able to see that the fair is happening. So I'm like, well, we could just go there. Let's just go here. And that's what I was just like, just randomly. But it's not random, y'all. We be on mission. And when you give spirit permission to move through you and you are a filled vessel, your feeling towards what is transpiring with you sometimes can sometimes get convoluted because of the emotions that you engage with while you're encountering. Okay. Everything's be so intentional, y'all. I remember having a lady at the last like a family fun fest, like fair day in Middletown that we just recently went to. And a lady walks up to me and she's like, well, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm reading. She's like, oh my gosh, like, are you feeling anything? And I was like giving her this whole spiel on, I was like, well, sometimes people feel like it's supposed to be this party trick and blah, blah, blah. And it's not really that. You have to petition me to basically, your spirit has to call me. And I randomly said to her, I said, it could be like, I could say, well, I feel your son, and she starts like getting emotional, but I didn't really perceive it because I'm just yapping. I'm just talking my little self away. And before I knew too far, I said, oh my goodness. I said, your son transitioned. She said, yes. She said, everything that you said was exactly what I've been processing. And I didn't have the rate of even pausing in the midst of my being. I just was. Okay. And a lot of times you don't have the ability to turn off you in the experience of you, because people are coming to experience you and engage with you on a daily basis, y'all. And a lot of times we don't know that it doesn't have to be the way that we had decided or perceived it was meant to be, or what it was meant to look like. A lot of times it be those random general encounters that we want to make, oh, this happened, it wasn't really a big deal. Y'all, the people I've walked into, I say ran into, the people I walked into in public, the people I've been called to experience in public, and it happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. I kid you not. It happens everywhere. They share so much with me about me in the experience of them getting whatever it is that they needed and that I be needing. But if I have this rate that it's not safe, right, for me to experience myself, I'm going to shut down. I'm going to stop things that were meant to basically be the catalyst for me to get to this next rate, to get to this next part. When you think about star being the safety being the star, you're thinking about the fact that, oh, I just want to be safe. It's something simple like a duh, you get to be safe. You are safe, period, right? If it's something that you're obsessed with, if it's something that you're addicted to thinking about, if it's something that you're longing for, like you don't have it yet, if it's something that you're clinging to, like you're not willing to risk the position or the foundation that you think that you're sitting on because you don't want to not be in a safe circumstance, you don't allow yourself to get to or be in the thing that's actually calling to you right now in this moment. Emotions will rule over you, okay, if you allow them to. All right. Your cells know, okay, even though they've been laced with like centuries worth of trauma from that's been passed down, okay, that's been given, that's literally embedded within your bones, y'all. The cell knows that it has the ability to be, and it knows that they're completely aware that they're far beyond physical. And because they're far beyond physical, they are in anticipation of being and doing what it is that they're called to do at this rate. All right. But what happens is it's like this chain that you kind of like, if you think about cycling, okay, there's these chains that you've connected to that are weaved throughout time, throughout experiences, throughout existence. You literally are cycling through this chain, refusing to dismantle it, refusing to disconnect from it, and it's allowing you to be perpetual in events, that just continue to occur. Spirit is saying disconnect right now. Disconnect and do so now. All right. And you'll know whatever it is that you need to disconnect from. And the reason for this disconnect is because if you've been asking for the thing, you have to do the thing. One of the cards that I got earlier when I before the message messed up on the other live was your spirit guides can lead you, but they can't do it for you. This is the saying of faith without works is dead. Right? This is what that saying is. Faith without works is dead. There's still a job to be done. Even if your job is being still, even if your job is to play, because some of us have been called to learn to play. There's supposed to be a balance of work and play. Even if your job is to basically come through or comb through, traumas that you need to basically heal at this time, you have to find a rate within yourself where you're willing to accept whatever perceived guidance that has come to you, and know that this level of maturity and perceiving it this way is due to the works that you already have done. Okay, if you've made a reach to go towards shadow work, healing, and stuff like that, Spirit is now calling us to be at the rate and owning the lessons that we've allowed ourselves to be in, so that we've overcome and that we've won. Walk in the lesson, walk in the decisions made, and be whole. All right. Don't allow safety to be your star anymore. Don't allow it to play in the background of your head. Don't allow it to keep you from taking this leap of faith. Don't allow it to keep you from starting. Don't allow it to keep you from dreaming, from thinking the things that you want to think, the new thoughts, the new ideas, the new experiences. Peace. I love y'all. I hope that y'all have an amazing day. Be great on purpose.